Imagine if somebody came up to you and says, you know what, you will own nothing. Matter of fact, I'm going to take everything you have and you're going to be happy about it. Guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about the Great Reset, what it is, my thoughts on it. And also, we're going to talk about a bombshell that the US Treasury just dropped on the Federal Reserve, how that's going to affect the housing market and the economic landscape. Guys, stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Daniel, one half of the Clock Brothers. Now, we got some really interesting stuff to talk about, but before we go ahead and do that, guys, click on that like button right now. Smash the like button like the globalists will do to our dreams. And also, did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that, or maybe I did. Anyways, guys, go ahead and click that like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post a lot of great videos on real estate investing, housing market, and also a lot of great business and financial tactics that you can use in your business and in your life today. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to the video. We're going to be talking about the Great Reset, but first, let's go ahead and talk about the bombshell that the US Treasury has just dropped on the Federal Reserve. Now, guys, I'm literally reading it off the article right here. It says, quote unquote, and by the way, guys, if you want to check out the article, I'm going to have Nick, our YouTube producer, put the link in the description below for the article that I'm referencing. Now, guys, I watched and looked at a lot of different articles, but this is the main one that I'm kind of going off of. It says right here, in a letter to Fed Chair Jerome Powell, Steve Mnuchin, right? Mnuchin said that the $455 billion allocated to Treasury under the CARES Act, which was announced last spring and executed last spring, much of it set aside to support Fed lending to businesses, nonprofits, and local governments should instead be available for Congress to reallocate to wherever they want. Now, the article, guys, continues on to say that the announcement could signal potential trouble for the incoming Biden administration. Although the programs were not used extensively, Fed officials felt their presence reassured financial markets and investors that credit would remain available to help businesses, local agencies, and even nonprofits through the pandemic downturn. Now, guys, obviously, you guys have heard me say this time and time again, that the real recession is caused by fear. It's caused by a lot of scarcity, people holding on to their dollars, people not spending as much, and that in turn causes a domino effect. Now, guys, my thought on this article in terms of how it affects the housing market and maybe even the economy as a whole, well, it's the fact that we've already seen a lot of negative news in the last 2 years, not even just 2020. We've already seen 9,500 store closings in 2019. And also for the year 2020, we're looking at a projected before the end of the year, before this year is done, 25,000 store closings. And on top of that, right? On top of that, 163,735 small businesses across all industries have closed between the months of March and September, right? March, when a lot of this COVID and pandemic stuff happening, all the way to September, and it's not even including October or this month of November, but between those months of March and September, we've seen 163,735 small businesses. And guys, that's just in the US. But here's what we really need to talk about, because at the end of the day, businesses come and go, corporations come and go. But let's talk about the American people. The challenge is that, well, when it comes to those small businesses, and well, if it is true that that $455 billion is going to be reallocated not towards small businesses, not towards nonprofits, not towards local government. Well, if that is the case, that concerns me because, well, just the small business alone, right? We have 60 million, roughly about 60 million Americans that are currently employed by small businesses in the United States of America. Again, that's not counting what that $455 billion credit was originally going towards under the CARES Act, which is not just small businesses, but local government and also nonprofit organizations. We haven't even accounted those numbers yet, but we're talking 60 million just in the small business sector alone. That's representing 47.3%, almost half of the entire private sector workforce in our country. That's ridiculous, guys. That's crazy. Now, keep in mind, guys, that's 60 million people, guess what? That all have either rent to pay or all have a mortgage that they have to account for. Now, guys, this is already on top of the fact that they're already projecting that 1.34 million households will be behind on their rent due to pandemic-related reasons. And also, before December 31st, right, CoreSite projects that $7.2 billion we will be behind as a nation in rent before December 31st, 2020. Guys, that's 1.34 million households, equaling $7.2 billion worth of rent that they are behind on before December 31st of 2020. Now, guys, again, if you guys have been following the Kwok Brothers channel for the last 3 or 4 months, we've been posting a lot of great content on the housing market. And well, my concern is that this is going to lead to a lot of things that we've already talked about. Stuff like, mortgage delinquencies, displacements in renters and also homeowners, REOs, short sales and foreclosures, and also issues with affordable housing. I'm afraid that this right here is going to take it to the next level. Now, guys, having said that, and a lot of other economic hardship conversations that's going on, along with this global pandemic that's kind of happening, it's brewing a conversation around this thing called the Great Reset. Well, before we go ahead and talk about that, let's explain what the Great Reset even is. Now, guys, across a lot of different videos, news articles I've watched, people I've talked to that speculate and also do a lot of research on this stuff as well, I kind of came to the conclusion that the Great Reset, right, verbatim, is a proposed shift in which economies and governments will be globalized and the people, as a result, would be weakened and subordinated. Now, guys, let me say this. This is a great reminder. My reminder to you is that the government does not actually own anything, right? That's the reality of the situation. Anything that the government, quote unquote, has is received in the form of taxes from people like me and you, aka hardworking Americans, right? It's taxes from the public sector. That's what they, quote unquote, have. In all reality, that is ours. It belongs to the people. Now, having said that, let me share with you guys my thoughts on the Great Reset based on what I've researched so far. Now, guys, here is a little disclaimer. Myself, my YouTube team, we've been researching this for about 2 to 3 weeks, right? We've had a couple people in our office who've been looking into this for years now. But the reality of the situation is we're continuing to do our research, and we're going to continue to put out content on our YouTube channel on exactly what it is, what's going to happen in 2-3 years, along with updates on the housing market and all sorts of different things. Well, why? Because we care about you guys and we want you guys to be equipped so you guys can make the best financial decisions possible, regardless of what's happening out there in the market space. My thoughts on the Great Reset. I have 3 main points and thoughts on what I believe that this is, right? Number 1, I believe it's something that's being pushed into the public as harmonious and helpful to all people, when in all reality, I believe it's actually going to do quite the opposite. It creates a world where we pretty much have no ownership and no privacy, therefore no personal sovereignty. And my 3rd and final point, definitely last but not least, it completely and utterly destroys the average citizen's ability for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And guys, I believe it completely destroys everything that this country was founded on, right? The power to the people as opposed to the government. So guys, let me end with this. I believe in equality, not equality in outcome, but I believe in equality in opportunity. As a matter of fact, that's why you're watching this video as opposed to another video, right? You're watching this video because you want to learn more. You want to learn more about finances. You want to learn about investing. You want to learn about what's happening in the market. Well, why is that? Why are you learning more? We all have different reasons, but at the end of the day, it's because we want a better outcome. We want, a better financial situation for us, our family, our communities, and overall the people that we care about, right? So again, from one person to you trying to make it in this world, I encourage you guys to keep going, to keep learning, keep watching our videos, keep improving yourself, because at the end of the day, that's one of the greatest freedoms that we are afforded here in this country. And guys, just as a reminder, I know I mentioned in the video earlier, but do not forget to share this video. I encourage you guys to share it with your friends, family, because at the end of the day, the more that we as citizens can be aware, alert, and also be knowledgeable and educated in how to respond, the better that we can be at building and sustaining at what's rightfully ours and what we have the freedom to create.